soothing tone, asked him in the presence of all the great rishis about the essential principles of various religious duties.
Text 26. Purusha swabhava vihitan yatha varnam yatha shramam vairagya ragappa dibhyam amnatobhya lakshanan.
As Maharaj raised his inquiry, Bhishmadev first defined all the classification of castes and orders of life in terms of the individual's qualifications. Then he systematically, in twofold divisions, described counteraction by detachment and interaction by attachment.
Text 27. Dana dharman raj dharman moksha dharman vibhagasha stri dharman bhagvat dharman samasya vyasa yogatah.
He then explained by divisions acts of charity, the pragmatic activities of a king, and activities for salvation. Then he described the duties of women and devotees, both briefly and extensively.
Text 28. Dharma martha kama moksham cha sahopayan yatha mune nanakya yaniti sheshu varnayam asa tattva-vid.
Then he described the occupational duties of different orders and statuses of life, citing instances from history. For he was himself well acquainted with the truth.
Text 29. Dharman pravadatastasya sakala pratyupashitah yo yoginas chandamrityor vanchitastu tarayana.
While Bhishmadev was describing occupational duties, the sun's course ran into the northern hemisphere. This period is desired by mystics who die at their will.
Text 30. Tadopasamhritya girasasranir vimukta sangam mana adipurushe krishne lastapitta pate chaturbhuje purastiti miladravyadharayat.
Thereupon, that man who spoke on different subjects with thousands of meanings and who fought on thousands of battlefields and protected thousands of men stopped talking and, being completely freed from all bondage, withdrew his mind from everything else and fixed his wide open eyes upon the original personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna, who stood before him, four-handed, dressed in yellow garments that glittered and shined.
Text 31. Vishuddhaya dharanaya hatashubhas tad ikshavya vasu gata yudha shramaha nivrita sarvendriya vriti vibhramas tustava janam vishrajan janardanam.
By pure meditation, looking at Lord Sri Krishna, he at once was freed from all material inauspiciousness and was relieved of all bodily pains caused by the arrow wounds. Thus, all the external activities of his senses at once stopped, and he prayed transcendentally to the controller of all living beings while quitting his material body.
Text 32. Shri Bhishma Uvacha Iti matir upakalpita vitrushna bhagvati satvata pungave vibhumi swasukham upagate kvachit vihartum prakritim upeyeshu yadbhava pravavaha.
Ishmadev said, "Let me now invest my thinking, feeling, and willing, which was so long engaged in different subjects and occupational duties, in the all-powerful Lord Sri Krishna. He is always self-satisfied, but sometimes, being the leader of the devotees, He enjoys transcendental pleasure by descending to the material world, although from him only the material world is created.
Text 33. Tribhuvana kamanam tamala varnam ravikara gauravara ambaram dadane vapur alaka kulavrattanan bhajam Vijaya Sakhe Ratit Astu Me Navadya.
See, Krishna is the intimate friend of Arjuna. He has appeared on this earth in his transcendental body, which resembles the bluish color of the tamala tree. His body attracts everyone in the three planetary systems, upper, middle, and lower. May his glittering yellow dress and his lotus face, covered with paintings of sandalwood pulp, be the object of my attraction, and may I not desire fruitive results.
Text 34. Yudhiturago Rajo Vidhumra Vishwa Kachalulita Shram Avare Alankratasya Mama Nishita Sharir Vividyam Na Mana Tvachi Vilasat Kavachestu Krishna Atma.
On the battlefield, where Sri Krishna attended Arjuna out of friendship, the flowing hair of Lord Krishna turned ashen due to the dust raised by the hoofs of the horses, and because of his labor, heads of sweat wetted his face. All these decorations, intensified by the wounds dealt by my sharp arrows, were enjoyed by him. Let my mind thus go unto Sri Krishna.
Text 35. Sapadi Sakhi Vacho Nishamya Madhye Nija Parayor Balayo Ratham Niveshaya Stitatvati Parasanikayur Akshana Hatvati Partha Sake Rati Marmastu.
In obedience to the command of his friend, Lord Sri Krishna entered the arena of the battlefield of Kurukshetra between the soldiers of Arjuna and Duryodhana, and while there, he shortened the lifespans of the opposite party by his merciful glance. This was done simply by his looking at the enemy. Let my mind be fixed upon that Krishna.
Text 36. Vyavahita Pritana Mukham Nirikshaya Swajana Vadhat Vimukhasya Dosha Buddhaya Kumatim Aharat Atma Vidyaya Ash Charana Rati Paramasya Tasya Mestu.
When Arjuna was seemingly polluted by ignorance upon observing the soldiers and commanders before him on the battlefield, the Lord eradicated his ignorance by delivering transcendental knowledge. May his lotus feet always remain the object of my attraction.
Text 37. Swanigamam apayahaya mat pratijanam ritam adhikartum avapaluto rathastaha dhrita ratha charano bhyagyascha chaladgur harir eva hantum ibham gatotaraye.
Fulfilling my vow and sacrificing his own promise, he got down from the chariot, took up its wheel, and ran towards me hurriedly, just as a lion goes to kill an elephant. He even dropped his outer garment and ran away.
怎么样？
It's fine. I'm going to put it down now. I'm going to go next door.
Hare Krishna, sorry I had to mute everyone. Reciters, please unmute yourselves.
Text 38. Sita Vishika Ato Vishirna Damsaha Kashacha Paripluta Atati Yanomi Parasbham Abhisasara Madvadhartam Sabhavatu Me Bhagwan Gatir Mukundaha.
May He, Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who awards salvation, be my ultimate destination. On the battlefield, he charged me, as if angry because of the wounds dealt by my sharp arrows. His shield was scattered, and his body was smeared with blood due to the wounds.
Text 39. Vijaya Rat Kutumba Atatotre Dritahaya Rashmini Tach Chiriyakshaniye Bhagwati Ratir Astu Me Mumurshor Yam Iha Nirikshaya Hatagata Swarupam.
At the moment of death, let my ultimate attraction be to see Krishna, personality of Godhead. I concentrate my mind upon the chariot driver of Arjun, who stood with a whip in his right hand and a girdle rope in his left, who was very careful to give protection to Arjun's chariot by all means. Those who saw him on the battlefield of Kurukshetra attained their original forms after death.
Text 40. Lalita Gati Vilasa Valguhasa Pranaya Nirkshana Kalpitor Manaha Kritam Anukratya Vatya Unmadanadaha Prakritam Agankila Yashya Gopa Vatvaha.
Let my mind be fixed upon Lord Krishna, whose motions and smiles of love attracted the damsels of Rajdam, gopis. The damsels imitated the characteristic movements of the Lord after his disappearance from the Rasa dance.
Text 41. Muni Gana Nripa Varya Sankule Nataha Sadasi Yudhishthira Rajasuya Esham Arhanam Upapeda Ikshanyo Mamadrisha Gochara Esha Avir Atma.
At the Rajasuya Yajna sacrifice performed by Maharaj Yudhishthir, there was the greatest assembly of all the elite men of the world, the royal and the learned orders. And in that great assembly, Lord Sri Krishna was worshipped by one and all as the most exalted personality of God. This happened during my presence, and I remembered the incident in order to keep my mind upon the Lord.
Text 42. Tam imam aham ajam sharira bhajam Ridhi dishtitam atma kalpitanam pratidrisham eva naikar dharkam ekam samadhi gato smi vidhuta bedha mohaha.
Now I can meditate with full concentration upon that one Lord, Sri Krishna, now present before me, because now I have transcended the misconceptions of duality in regard to his presence in everyone's heart. Even in the hearts of the mental speculators, he is in everyone's heart. The sun may be perceived differently, but the sun is one.
Text 43. Sutta uvacha Krishna evam bhagvati manovagdrishti vrittibhihi Atmane Atmanam Aveshya Sonata Shwasha Uparamat.
Sutta Goswami said, thus Viswadev merged himself into the Supersoul, Lord Shri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, with his mind, speech, sight, and actions, and thus he became silent, and his breathing stopped.
Text 44. Sampadayamanam Agnaya Bhishman Brahmani Nishkale Sarve Babuvushte Tushnim Vayamishva Dinataye.
Knowing that Bhishmadev had merged into the unlimited eternity of the Supreme Absolute, all present there became silent, like birds at the end of the day.
Text 45. Tatra Dundubhayo Nedur Deva Manava Vaditaha Sashamshu साध्वो राजनाम कहत पेतु पुष्प वृष्टयः.
Therefore, both men and demigods sounded drums in honor, and the honest royal order commenced demonstrations of honor and respect. And from the sky fell showers of flowers.
Text 46. Tasya nihar anadani samparatesya bhargava yudhishthira kartayatva muhurtam dukkhito bhavat.
O descendant of Bhrigu, Tanag, after performing funeral rituals for the dead body of Vishwadev, Maharaj Yudhishthir was momentarily overtaken with grief.
Text 47. Tushtuvir munaye rishtaha krishnam tadguya namabihi tataste krishna hridaye swashraman prayahu punaha.
All the great sages then glorified Lord Krishna, who was present there by confidential Vedic kings. Then all of them returned to their respective hermitages, bearing always Lord Krishna within their hearts.
Text 48. Tato yudhishthiro gatva saha krishno gajahvayam pitaram santavayam asha gandharim cha tapasvinim.
Thereafter, Maharaj Yudhishthir at once went to his capital, Hastinapur, accompanied by Lord Krishna. And there he consoled his uncle and aunt Gandhari, who was an ascetic.
Text 49. Pitra chanumato raja vasudevanu chakra rajyam dharmena pitrapaita maham vibhu.
After this, the great religious king, Maharaj Yudhishthir, executed the royal power in the kingdom strictly according to the codes of royal principles approved by his uncle and confirmed by Lord Shri Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. That was wonderful recitations. Thank you to both of you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Manu Prabhuji, are you here?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I'll make you host now.
Thank you.
I can't see you, Prabhuji. Oh, there, okay.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiv Narottamam Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udhirayet Nashtapraye Swabhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. We're reading from chapter 9 of Canto 1, and we are covering 3 shlokas today, 3 verses, 41, 42, 43. Is that right? Yes. 41, 42, 43. Munigan nirpavarya shankulayantah sadasi yudhishthira rajasuya esham aranam upapeda ikshaniyo mam drishi gochar eshu avir atama. At Rajasuya performed by Maharaj Yudhishthir Yagna, Rajasuya Yagna performed by Maharaj Yudhishthir, there was the greatest assembly of all the elite men of the world, the royal and learned orders. And in that great assembly, Lord Krishna was worshipped by one and all as the most exalted personality of Godhead. This happened during my presence, and I remembered the incident in order to keep my mind upon the Lord, purported by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Jai. After gaining victory in the Battle of Kurukshetra, Maharaj Yudhishthir, Emperor of the world, performed the Rajasuya sacrificial ceremony. Emperor in those days, upon his ascendance to the throne, would send a challenge horse all over the world to declare his supremacy, and any ruling prince or king was at liberty to accept the challenge and express this tacit willingness either to obey or disobey the supremacy of the particular emperor. One who accepted the challenge had to fight with the emperor and establish his own supremacy by victory. The defeated king would have to sacrifice his life, making a place for neither king or ruler. So, Maharaj Yudhishthira also dispatched such challenging horses all over the world, and every ruling prince and king all over the world accepted Maharaj Yudhishthira's leadership as the emperor of the world. After this, all rulers of the world under the regime of Maharaj Yudhishthira were invited to participate in the great sacrificial ceremony of Rajasuya. Such performances required hundreds and millions of dollars. It was not an easy job for a petty king. Such a sacrificial ceremony, being too expensive and also difficult to perform under present circumstances, is now impossible in the age of Kali. Nor can anyone secure the required expert priesthood to take charge of the ceremony. So, after being invited, all the kings and great learned sages of the world assembled in the capital of Maharaj Yudhishthira. Learned society, including the great philosophers, religionists, physicians, scientists, and all great sages, was invited. This is to say, the Brahmanas and Kshatriyas were the topmost leading men in society, and they were all invited to participate in the assembly. The Vaishyas and Sudras were unimportant elements in society, and they are not mentioned herein. Due to the change of social activities in the modern age, the importance of men has also changed in terms of occupational positions. So, in that great assembly, Lord Shri Krishna was the cynosure of neighboring eyes. Everyone wanted to see Lord Krishna, and everyone wanted to pay his humble respects to the Lord. Bhishmadev remembered all this and was glad that his worshipful Lord, personality of Godhead, was present before him in his actual formal presence. So, to meditate on the Supreme Lord is to meditate on the activities, form, pastimes, name, and fame of the Lord. That is easier than what is imagined as meditation on the impersonal feature of the Supreme. In Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly stated that to meditate upon the impersonal feature of the Supreme is very difficult. There is practically no meditation or simply a waste of time because very seldom is the desired result obtained. The devotees, however, meditate upon the Lord's factual form and pastimes, and therefore the Lord is easily approachable by the devotees. This is also stated in Bhagavad Gita 12.9. Lord is non-different from his transcendental activities. It is indicated also in this shloka that Lord Krishna, while actually present before human society, especially in connection with the Battle of Kurukshetra, was accepted as the greatest personality of the time. Although he might not have been recognized as Supreme Personality of Godhead. The propaganda that a very great man is worshipped as God after his death is misleading because a man after his death cannot be made into God. Nor can the personality of Godhead be a human being even when he is personally present. Both ideas are misconceptions. The idea of anthropomorphism cannot be applicable in case of Lord Krishna. Tamimam aham ajam sharir bhajam hridhi dishtitam atmakalpitanam pratidrisham iv naikadharakam ekam samadhi gatwasmi vidhuta bhedam moha. Translation: Now I can meditate with full concentration upon that one Lord Sri Krishna, now present before me, because now I have transcended the misconceptions of duality in regard to his presence in everyone's heart, even in the hearts of the mental speculator. He is in everyone's heart. The sun may be perceived differently, but the sun is one. Purport. Lord Shri Krishna is the one absolute supreme personality of Godhead, but he has expanded himself into his multiplenary portions by his inconceivable energy. Conceptions of duality is due to ignorance of his inconceivable energy. In Bhagavad Gita 9.11, Lord says that only foolish take him to be a mere human being. Such foolish men are not aware of his inconceivable energies. By his inconceivable energy, he is present in everyone's heart as the sun is present before everyone, all over the world. Paramatma feature of the Lord is an expansion of his plenary portions. He expands himself as Paramatma in everyone's heart by his inconceivable energy. He also expands himself as the glowing effulgence of Brahman Jyoti by expansion of his personal glow. It is stated in Brahma Samhita that the Brahman Jyoti is his personal glow. Therefore, there is no difference between him and his personal glow. Brahman Jyoti or his plenary portion as Paramatma. Less intelligent persons who are not aware of this fact consider Brahman Jyoti and Paramatma to be different from Sri Krishna. This misconception of duality is completely removed from the mind of Bhishmadev, and he is now satisfied it is Lord Shri Krishna only who is all in everything. This enlightenment is attained by the great Mahatmas or devotees, as it is stated in Bhagavad Gita 7.19, that Vasudeva is all in everything, and there is no existence of anything without Vasudeva. Vasudeva or Lord Shri Krishna is the original Supreme Person, as now confirmed by Mahajan, and therefore both the neophytes and the pure devotees must try to follow in his footsteps. That is the way of devotional line. The worshipable object of Bhishmadev is Lord Shri Krishna as Parthasarathi, and that of the gopis is the same Krishna in Vrindavan as the most attractive Shyam Sundar. Sometimes less intelligent scholars make a mistake and think that Krishna of Vrindavan and that of the Battle of Kurukshetra are different personalities. But for Bhishmadev, this misconception is completely removed. Even the impersonalist object of destination is Krishna, as the impersonal Jyoti and yogi's destination of Paramatma is also Krishna. Krishna is both Brahman Jyoti and localized Paramatma. But in Brahman Jyoti of Paramatma, there is no Krishna or sweet relations with Krishna. There is no Krishna or sweet relations with Krishna. In his personal feature, Krishna is both Parthasarathi and Shyam Sundar of Vrindavan. But in his impersonal feature, he is neither in the Brahman Jyoti nor in the Paramatma. Great Mahatmas like Bhishmadev realize all these different features of Lord Krishna, and therefore they worship Lord Krishna, knowing him as the origin of all features. Sutta Vacha Krishna evam Bhagavati Mano Vaga Drishtivrittibihi Atmani Atmanam Aveshya So Antavasha Uparamata. Translation. Sud Goswami said, Bhishmadev merged himself in Super Soul Lord Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead, with his mind, speech, sight, and actions, and thus he became silent, and his breathing stopped. Purport. The stage attained by Bhishmadev while quitting his material body is called Nirvikalpa Samadhi, because he merged his self into thinking of the Lord and his mind into remembering his different activities. He chanted the glories of the Lord, and by his sight he began to see the Lord personally present before him. And thus, all his activities became concentrated upon the Lord without deviation. This is the highest stage of perfection, and it is possible for everyone to attain this stage by practice of devotional service. The devotional service of the Lord consists of 9 principles of service activities, and they are hearing, chanting, remembering, serving the lotus feet, worshipping, praying, executing the orders, fraternizing, and fully surrendering. Any one of them or all of them are equally competent to award the desired result, but they require to be practiced persistently under the guidance of an expert devotee of the Lord. The first item, hearing, is the most important item of all, and therefore hearing of Bhagavad Gita and later on Srimad Bhagavatam is essential for the serious candidate who wants to attain the stage of Bhishmadev at the end. Unique situation at Bhishmadev's time of death can be attained, even though Lord Krishna may not be personally present. His words of Bhagavad Gita or those of Srimad Bhagavatam are identical with the Lord. They are sound incarnations of the Lord, and one can fully utilize them to be entitled to attain the stage of Sri Bhishmadev, who was one of the 8 Vasus. Every man or animal must die at certain stage of life. But one who dies like Bhishmadev attains perfection, and one who dies forced by the laws of nature dies like an animal. That is the difference between a man and animal. The human form of life is especially meant for dying like Bhishmadev. Om Jnanam Timirindasya Jnananjanashalakya Chakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandena Shri Guru Shri Kapadakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitam Chahe Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishwanusate Devi Pranamami Hari Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vaibhacha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this is a beautiful context in which Bhishmadev is going to leave his body. So these are the prayers and glorification of Lord Krishna by Bhishmadev. And it may appear to be something like 5,000 years ago, but leaving of the body is happening even today. Some people may argue, oh, this is historical, it has no relevance. But life and death has relevance at every point in time, whenever, whatever stage of life, and whatever time on earth or wherever we are, is always relevant. To attain this kind of state of consciousness, what Bhishmadev is reflecting in these verses is almost impossible. But Srila Prabhupada has kindly said it is possible. It is possible because Srimad Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam are present, which are not different from Krishna. And therefore, devotees, by immersing themselves in these literature, transcendental literature, they can easily achieve something which is even very, very durlabha. Bahunam janmanam antigyanvan mam prapadyante samahatma sudurlabha. Vasudev sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabha. 7.19. Prabhupada has quoted this verse in Bhagavatam purport when we are reading the purports. So it's very interesting to see how Bhishmadev is remembering various pastimes in a sequential manner, in such a way that one after other, it is kind of bringing him closer to Krishna, who is present before him. So Bhishmadev is remembering in the previous verses, Bhishmadev is remembering, first of all, Paratsarthi, Krishna, who is a chariot driver, who has kindly taken the position of chariot driver for Arjuna. Parthasarthi. He's focusing on the image of that Parthasarthi. He's remembering the time when Krishna broke his promise to, to, to save his devotee. And he's remembering that beautiful form of Lord Krishna with the wheel in his hand, with his pitambar swaying in the air, with all the dust in the hair, with the blood droplets on his face and sweat on his face. He's running in anger uh, to destroy somebody who's going to attack and kill his pure devotee. Although both are pure devotees, still, because Bhishma they wanted to see that form of the Lord in that power. So Krishna showed that form, and then he's remembering the highest uh, devotees of the Lord, the Vraja gopis. He's remembering them, and he's also seeing no difference between Krishna and Kurukshetra, Krishna and Vrajadham. After that, he's remembering Krishna with Yudhishthir Maharaj in Rajasuya Yagya. Now, if you all recall that in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, there were many, many kings who were slain and their armies were slain. And so there was a need to establish a common, a united kingdom, not this united kingdom, but Bharatvarsha. There were many who were still very inimical because some of their uh, father or sons or brothers or relatives, they were killed in the battlefield by the Pandavas. And therefore, Yudhishthir Maharaj felt it was very important to establish a unified kingdom, so that all the inimical feelings must end. And he inquired of the rishis that what can he do to atone for so many deaths, and he was advised to perform a Rajsuya Yagya, a horse sacrifice, Ashwamedha Yagya. And in this Ashwamedha Yagya, a horse is released, which is then accompanied by the army of the king. And then whoever wants to not take the supremacy of the king, who can hold the horse, and will have to then fight or have a battle with the army of Yudhishthira Maharaj. So Yudhishthira Maharaj, first of all, didn't have much wealth to perform such a Rajsuya Yagya. It is astonishing to see that Prabhupada has mentioned in the purport petty Yudhishthira Maharaj. Although Yudhishthira Maharaj was still a very, very wealthy, rich, opulent king, but when it comes to performing Rajsuya Yagya, he was a petty because that wealth which is required to perform Rajsuya Yagya is enormous, which was much beyond the capacity of the king Yudhishthira Maharaj. Hence, he took advice from Vyasadeva as to what can be done because he wanted to perform this yagya. Then Vyasadeva revealed to Yudhishthira Maharaj that there was a king with the name Marut, who has actually pleased Lord Shiva by his austerities, and being pleased by this Marut, Lord Shiva gave him or presented him or gifted him a golden mountain. When he received this gift from Lord Shiva, then he fashioned or carved out pure gold altars for sacrifices. He carved out various ornaments, the utensils, etc., of all of pure gold. So when this Marut died, everything was left behind. And Vyasadeva told Yudhishthira Maharaj that all of this wealth is lying in a cave in a Himalaya. And then Yudhishthira Maharaj sent Arjun to get all this wealth from that place, geographical area in the Himalayas. After some time, Arjun came back with a whole lot of wealth. The elephants and horses and whole lot of wealth came along with all that wealth. And Yudhishthira Maharaj said, "This is great." At that time, he sent Arjun out. He sent Arjun out with the horse. Anybody who would refuse to accept the supremacy of the king will have to have a battle with Arjun. And this is what happened. There was one very notable battle that happened, which has a relationship with Bhishma Dev. At that time, Arjun went to north and south, and everywhere, most of the kings they accepted, and those who did not, 3 or 4, um, they had to have a battle, and Arjun defeated them all, including the kingdom of Dushala, the sister of Duryodhan. So after all these battles, which Arjun easily won, he went to the east, to Manipur. In Manipur, it was his own king, it was his own son who was ruling Manipur. And that time they did not participate in the battle because they were ruling the kingdom with Vaishnava philosophy. So the battle was, they did not participate in the battle. So when Arjun came, his own son from Chitrangada was ruling the kingdom. And this is mentioned in chapter 33 by Krishna Dharma Prabhu, the Mahabharata. It was very interesting to go through this whole passage. Arjun's son was Babru Vahan. This Babru Vahan came and greeted Arjun and worshipped him and offered all the wealth that he had to go to Yudhishthira Maharaj. But Arjun became very upset and very angry. He became very upset and very angry, and he challenged his son, Babruvahan, that you are a Kshatriya, and I have come here, and you are surrendering unto me. You must fight with me and show your Kshatriya prowess. But Babruvahan did not want to, and he continued to pay his obeisances and worship. So finally, Arjun became very angry. At that time, Arjun's other wife from Nagaloka, Ulupi, she came and she said to Babruvan that you should fight with Arjun because it will be pleasing to him. Hearing the words of his stepmother, Babruvan started to fight with Arjun, and a fierce battle ensued between them. After some time and a fierce battle, Babruvahan sort of started to win, and finally he pierced the arrows across the chest of Arjun, and Arjun was defeated, and he lied down on the battlefield, fell dead. When Babruvan realized, and when Chitrangada got to know, she came running from the kingdom into the battlefield, started to cry tears on this unfortunate event of death. At that time, Babruvan also said that I am going to now kill myself by accepting no water till I die, because I have done such a heinous act of killing my own father. So when all this thing was going on, that time, Chitrangada started to plead Ulupi, and Ulupi, by her mystic powers, got a gem from the Nakaloka. This gem had the mystic power to bring the dead into alive. So by the prayers and by the magic power of the gem, finally Ulupi asked Babruvahan to take this gem and put it on the body of Arjun. At that time, Arjun was revived. Arjun's all his wounds were completely gone, and Arjun became fresh ever, and he started to ask why Chitrangada is here. Ulupi, why are you here? Have I done anything wrong against you? and that you have come here to harm us. What is the reason for that? Then Ulupi reassured Arjun that she's not, she's there only to help. And then she started to describe as to what has happened when Arjun slayed Bhishmadev. When Arjun has slayed Bhishmadev, but not in a correct way. He slain Bhishmadev by placing Shikhandi in front of him, and because of that, all the Vasus, they became very disturbed. When Bhishmadev fell, at the time, Vasus, they started to they spoke to Mother Ganga. They said that Arjun has unfairly slain your son Bhishma. For this, we will curse this Arjun to die. And Ganga agreed. So when this all happened, Ulupi went to her father and told her father about this. So her father then begged to Vasus that they should not curse his son-in-law like this. So then Vasu said that, okay, this Dhananjay has a youthful son who is now king of Manipur. That king will cast his father down in battlefield and free him from our curse. Then Ulupi told Arjun that this is for this reason that you are slain by your son. Even Indra cannot kill you, but it is said the son is one's own self. After he killed you, I have revived you with the celestial gem, hence your curse is now cured. So Bhishmadev has a pure, loving heart towards Arjun. But his relations, Vasus, they could not accept this unfair means of slaying Bhishmadev, hence the curse. And this is how somehow during Rajasuya Yaga, this curse, after that incident, this curse was lifted from Arjun. So Bhishmadev is remembering Krishna of Rajasuya Yaga, a beautiful form of Krishna who is God himself, whose personality of Godhead. Then he's concentrating his mind. He's concentrating his mind on Krishna who's present before him. And we know this beautiful verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, which is one of the principal verses, foundation verses. Vadanti tattattvavidas tattam yajnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagwaniti shabdayate. Krishna, it is him from whom the effulgence is coming. It is him from whom the Paramatma feature of the Lord four-arm Vishnu form is coming. But Krishna is the original personality of Godam. Govindam Adipurusham tam aham bhajami. Sarva karana karanam. He is the cause of all causes. So Bhishmadev has realized, therefore, he's seeing Krishna in two-armed form. He's remembering Krishna in four-armed form. He is seeing Krishna in everybody's heart as Paramatma. He's realizing Krishna's all features, and he is establishing as a Mahajan that it is this Krishna, this two-armed form Krishna. He is the one who is worshipped as Narayan, who is worshipped as Paramatma feature, and who is the Brahman effulgence. It is this Krishna who is being worshipped by the Vraja Gopis in Vrindavan, and it is this Krishna who is God, who was present in Rajasuya Yagya. And I am so fortunate that this Krishna, who is personality of Godhead, who is like or looking like an ordinary man, but his personality of Godhead is present before me. Like this, Bhishmadev completely focused his mind in the thoughts and absorption of Krishna. Now, it is mentioned that he merged into the super soul. When I read purport, Srila Prabhupada said it is his thought, it was his thoughts which merged, or his thoughts, his mind merged into the thoughts of Lord Krishna. His minds merged into the thoughts of Lord Krishna, who is present everyone and everywhere. So, Srila Prabhupada has mentioned that everybody has the opportunity what Bhishma Dev has. It is not easy to die in this state of consciousness. Prabhupada has mentioned that who will die in this state of consciousness, they are devotees. Others, they will just die like animals. So this is the test. This is the test of human life. How are we going to leave our body? At that time, what will be our thought processes? We can see Bhishma Dev is remembering one of the most intense moments of his life, emotions of his life, which have connected him with Krishna. These are the intense moments. Some moments are etched on the heart and they are remembered all our lives. And it happens with all of us. If we go back and ask a question that what is the most memorable moment, we'll go back in our consciousness and start to see some of the most memorable events that have happened either before or after, before Krishna consciousness or during the time of Krishna consciousness. And we can see that those memories are very powerful. They're etched in our heart. We can go back in those emotions and we can relive those emotions. I can remember many such moments within Krishna consciousness that you really want to live them again and again. And all of us must have those memories. By repetition of sadhana, by repetition process, the samskars, the impressions in our mind become stronger and stronger and stronger of the and spiritual emotions take over. At the time of death, we will remember these moments. If Prabhupada is saying, if you immerse ourselves in Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, then, and if we continue to follow the principles, the regulative principles, and if we chant the holy names of the Lord, there's an opportunity that we can also have immersion of our thoughts in the thoughts of Krishna's form, pastimes, and his activities. Srila Prabhupada quoted this verse, we all know very well, that Prahlad Maharaj has recited. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakhyam Atmanivedanam. So these are the 9 process of devotional service. And if we follow these 9 process of devotional service, even one, which is the hearing process, hearing of Bhagavatam, hearing of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, then it will surely bring us to the point of consciousness where Bhishma Dev was present. So, in this chapter, it's almost the end of this chapter, we are seeing how beautifully Lord's great devotee, a Mahajan, is leaving his body. We see many such examples in the recent past also, in our community of ISKCON devotees, in community where our gurus are leaving the bodies, and it's all very glorious. We have great inspiration before us, and we can all, wherever we are, in whatever situation, condition, state of our mind and thoughts and processes we are, we can all try, think, and aspire to somehow or the other and pray for the mercy of Krishna, mercy of Guru, mercy of devotees, somehow or the other, while we are leaving the bodies, somehow or the other, let us be in this situation that Krishna, we can just remember you. Krishna, we can just remember you. Last time I was talking about Mahaprakash Leela. In that Haridas Thakur, when he was asked that what would you like, I can give you. Lord Chaitanya said to Haridas Thakur in Mahaprakash Leela, I'll give you 8 mystic perfection. I'll give you anything, Haridas. I want to give you anything. And Srila Haridas Thakur said, if you want to give me something, oh my Lord, give me a berth as a dog in the house of a devotee, where your pure devotees throw the remnants of prashadam, and by receiving that prashadam, I'll become pure. Because because I cannot remember you. And then Lord Chaitanya, filled with his heart is filled with love, and he's saying, Namacharya, Namacharya. But Haridas Thakur is saying, I cannot remember you, my Lord. I cannot remember you. Your remembrance is so powerful. And he started to recite some of the incidents, and he said, your remembrance is so powerful that when Draupadi was attacked uh, and her chastity was challenged, then you appeared before her when she remembered you, and you saved by incarnating yourself as unlimited sari. That's how you saved. Similarly, Haridas Thakur started to quote various pastimes of the Lord where the remembrance of the Lord has saved the devotees. And he said that, my Lord, why did you come and save me? Why did you take the whipping of those Muslim soldiers upon yourself? I don't even able to remember you. Like that, he was pleading to Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya's heart was melting. And he said, you have conquered me, Haridas. You have imprisoned me in your heart. And I will give you this benediction that whoever remembers you, Haridas, whoever remembers you will obtain love of God. So like this, you see, remembrance of God, remembrance of Krishna, specifically at the time of breath. Of course, it has to be all the time, but specifically at the time of death, can bring us very, very close to the all-merciful Lord. So I'll just end this here. And if there are any questions or comments, we can take it. It's 43 past 8. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Manu Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Very wonderful, wonderful pastime. Yeah, and I never heard that other one when Arjuna was killed by his own son. This is the first time I'm here. Where is it? Is it in Mahabharata? You're muted, Prabhu.
Sorry. Yes, it is in Mahabharata. And you can read this in chapter 33 of Mahabharata,
Okay.
part 2. So if you pick up Krishna Dharma Prabhu's book, Mahabharata, in that you can read this in part 2. There are 2 parts to that book. One is part 1, other is that's called Die is Cast, and part 2 is called Deliverance. In part 2, if you go in the chapter of where it is mentioned that Yudhishthir's Ashwamedh sacrifice, chapter 33, that's where this pastime is mentioned. And the connection with the Bhishma Dev came about. So I was also very amazed to see this and how he was revived.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Also, I'm a bit, I don't know, I'm a bit, I don't know whether I'm understanding well. When, but the Ashwamedh Yagya, did it happen before Bhishma they passed away? I thought the battle was finished and then, because then Yudhishthira Maharaj wasn't the king at that time before the battle. Because before after the battle, Bhishma Dev took his, he passed away. So the Ashwamedh Yagya happened before.
So, see, when I read the Mahabharata, this question came to me as well, that when is it that Bhishma Dev was lying on the bed here, and prior to that, Ashwamedh Yagya actually has been conceived prior, I think.
I thought when you become king,
there was a
that's
gap between the battle one and when Bhishma Dev has left his body. So in between the Ashwamedha, the Yagna has happened. So I'm not able to chronologically fit this, but this is what I'm reading in Mahabharata. Yudhishthir's Ashwamedha Yagya.
Okay, thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Even
See,
I was got confused, but I think before, like before the battle, Yudhishthira Maharaj has performed Rajasuya Yagya, isn't it? And then this one, after the battle, it was Ashwamedha Yagya.
yes, that's right.
Okay, Rajeshwari. Okay, yeah, now I understand.
That's right. Yes, Mataji.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. And the same with Mataji, this Arjun's dying, the story that was new for us. Thank you for bringing the beautiful story.
Because I've never heard that story.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you
I
so
thought
much.
I'll share that. Yes.
It's very nice. Thank you. Very nice class. Really, I got a lot out of it. Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay, so thank you all devotees. Panchakaltarubhyascha kripa
Kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you very much.
Krishna.
Thank you,
Prabhuji.
devotees. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.